A teacher once told me that I could be anything I wanted to be with the application of hard work and determination. Today I stand on those words. Hello and welcome to another exciting edition of Jamaica Magazine. I am your host, Audrey Williams. In the spirit of Child Month and celebration of Teacher Appreciation Week, we want to acknowledge all our educators who are molding the nation's young minds. We have a lot to share with you, including how the Ministry of Education instills confidence in our youth. So, sit back, relax, and don't go anywhere. You won't want to miss this.
What a way you're full of our roots and culture. That was in Jamaica 60. Jamaica 60? What a piece of news, Miss Matty. I feel like my heart going bust up.
Just in, the island of Jamaica is on the verge of celebrating its 60th year of independence.
A whole way of celebrating it. They say the people them come here, you know. But you see, when our people decide, say the other people them free paper, burn up, them say if it's war, start it, whatever. We all collect medal pants of it, you know.
Medal.
Amount of tongue we give them, you know.
The celebrations are slated to begin on January 1st, 2022. Organized by the Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport. We have more in this report.
I am on site and planning activities are ablaze. Persons are advised to download the Reggae Jamaica app to know what it pre. Activities for the Jamaica 60 celebration.
Yeah. I download the app to get the updates then.
Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Friday, May 6, 2022. 50 female domestic workers are to benefit from small entrepreneurship grants under a partnership between the Ministry of Labour and Social Security and the International Labour Organization, ILO. 4 of the beneficiaries received their grant checks during a function at the ministry's North Street office on Wednesday. The support will enable the female domestic workers to engage in formal business activities that generate additional income. They will also benefit from basic training through the ministry's Education and Entrepreneurship Grants program. Permanent Secretary Colette Roberts-Risden says the grant agreement, which was signed with the ILO in 2020, is timely support for one of the group's hardest hit during the various waves of the pandemic.
I want to encourage the ladies who are here to make use of this opportunity. You would have received training before you receive the grant. We have officers who are going to be monitoring your project. Make sure you work with the officers, because our intention is for you to succeed. Because if you succeed, we succeed. And if you succeed, your children succeed, your families succeed.
Acting Coordinator of the Social Intervention Program at the Ministry, Sylvester Anderson, says applicants for the entrepreneurship grants are assessed based on economic need, the viability of the business, and long-term economic benefit. The more than 1,400 residents of the farming community of Troy in Trelawney can now travel and transport their goods with increased ease, following the rehabilitation of 2 roads at a combined cost of $106 million. The work was executed by the Jamaica Social Investment Fund, JSIF, under the 9th cycle of the Basic Needs Trust Fund. The 1-kilometer common road was improved at a cost of $67.3 million, while $39.1 million was spent upgrading the 650-meter Star Apple Lane. They were officially opened on Tuesday. General Manager for Finance and Procurement at JSIF, Orville Hill, says approximately 35% of the residents are farmers, and the newly paved roads will make it easier for them to earn a living and better support their families.
So it has been over 40 years since most of these roads were last rehabilitated. And you can see the effect it can cause on livelihoods of the residents, and of course, more importantly, on our farmers. I am sure that the initiative comes as a ray of hope to all our farmers and citizens.
The Basic Needs Trust Fund is a special fund of the Caribbean Development Bank distributed to borrowing member countries in the form of grants to allow for the development of critical infrastructure and social services. The Ministries of Health and Education will be rolling out a renewed Jamaica Moves in Schools program this year. Minister of Health and Wellness, Dr. Christopher Tufton, made the announcement in Parliament on Tuesday.
Now that schools are reopened, we will also see another collaboration with the Ministry of Education and Youth, which is the rollout of the Jamaica Moves in Schools program to get our children active as part of their wellness program. The Minister of State in the Ministry of Health and Wellness, the Honourable Juliet Cuthbert-Flynn, will lead this initiative.
The Health and Education Ministries will also be partnering to launch new policies and laws around food options in schools through the soon-to-be-implemented school nutrition policy.
The policy proposal has passed through the stages of internal consultation and is to go before Cabinet as a green paper, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, we will work to guide and mandate, in some cases, our school cafeterias to prepare healthier options for our children. We must help our children to develop healthier habits, and the school environment, Madam Speaker, is the best place to start.
The Health and Wellness Minister says an assessment of schools, which is now taking place, will ensure that the sugary drinks restrictions are maintained. In other health news, State Minister Juliet Cuthbert-Flynn is reiterating government support for exclusive breastfeeding as part of the Healthy Lifestyle Thrust.
At the Ministry of Health and Wellness, our stance on breastfeeding is that it is required a whole society approach, meaning all of us, family, the policymakers, and employers, to name a few. It is our intent to reinforce this level of support across the entire health system in order to continuously improve the appropriate environments for mothers to breastfeed.
She says exclusive breastfeeding gives infants the ability to develop healthy bodies and bright minds and stimulates lifelong health benefits for mothers. Statistics show that less than 50% of infants in Jamaica are currently breastfed at up to 6 months. And Mrs. Cuthbert-Flynn says this will have to change.
Together, our efforts can move Jamaica closer to meeting the 5th Global Nutrition Target for 2025 to increase the rate of exclusive breastfeeding in the first 6 months up to at least 50%.
Mrs. Cuthbert-Flynn was speaking at a recent nutrition symposium at the Lionel Town Hospital. In other news, Jamaica will vie for a council seat at the next International Civil Aviation Organization ICAO General Assembly to be held in September. Minister of Transport and Mining Audley Shaw made the announcement during his recent contribution to the sectoral debate in Parliament. The ICAO creates regulations for aviation safety, efficiency, and environmental protection, as well as operating practices and procedures.
Securing an ICAO council seat will help Jamaica to forge and maintain strategic partnerships with industry stakeholders and provides an opportunity for Jamaica to contribute to decision-making at one of the highest levels in the aviation industry.
And finally, Minister of Tourism Edmund Bartlett has been inducted into the prestigious Global Travel Hall of Fame. The Global Travel Hall of Fame, formerly dubbed the British Travel and Hospitality Hall of Fame, recognizes the highest achievers in the travel, hospitality, tourism, and leisure sectors. Inductees are also hailed as having not only achieved phenomenal business success, but having also inspired and shaped those around them. Minister Bartlett is the first Caribbean tourism leader to receive this honor, and he joins an esteemed group of high achievers in the international travel and hospitality industry. The induction ceremony was held at the Chesterfield Hotel in London recently. Minister Bartlett says he was humbled by the recognition, which follows a stream of other worldwide industry awards bestowed upon him. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.
We've all had a subject that was a great challenge for us in school. Well, let's take a look at how the Ministry of Education and Youth is working to change the mindset of those struggling with one particular subject and boosting their confidence to face it head on.
I love math and I use it in my everyday life. I am learning more math each day. I am a problem solver. I am born to do math. You are born to do math. We are born to do math.
not in our daily lives, yet the word that best describes how so many view this subject is daunting.
It is as if the brain shuts down when numbers are placed in front of you. Often this stems from an early experience of getting some things wrong and being intimidated ever since.
Everybody understands what was taught a while ago about interconnection?
For several years now, the Ministry of Education has been on a mission to change this mindset and demystify the subject through its annual observance of National Mathematics Week. This year, the week was celebrated from March 27 to April 1 under the theme Born to Do Math, Changing Your Mindset. In this exposition, students learn how to use math in music, social media, and garment making.
Our aim and hope is to change that attitude because, and I strongly believe, that all of us are born to do math.
The highlight of the week of events was a virtual mathematics exposition. Using practical everyday examples, games, and performance pieces, more than 2,000 students at the primary and secondary levels, along with parents, were encouraged to master math through constant practice.
Just as though the mantra is math counts for math, you have to count in music to make it. So, for example, let's talk about something simple. Imagine the notations that you have. When you're reading notes in music, look at a pizza. Pizza in its entirety is what we refer to as a whole note. And if you're counting a whole note, that's 4 counts. So it will be 1, 2, 3, 4. How many pizzas that are just clapping? 1, 2, these are 3 pizzas. So if I put that in half, cut that in half, we have 2 halves. 2 on this side, 2 on this side. So it will be 1, 2, 3, 4.
We use social media to create, share content, and participate in social networking. But did you know that math is also present in content development?
For me, simple mathematics come into play when it comes on to me creating my videos, starting from how I write my scripts, to shooting, to editing, and to then publishing. There is a guide that I use, and I got this from broadcasting, and it has to do with how we determine how many words can fit into a specific time frame. So for me, it's 3 words per second. So if I'm doing a 30-second video, I know that I cannot have more than 90 words. It's 3 times 30, and that gives you 90.
Heather Lane is a garment producing company. In our business, maths is like the base of everything. Our business starts by making a pattern. Now, making a pattern obviously is going to be dependent on measurements. When we do a pattern, we do various sizes.
Mathematics is used in our everyday lives, and with constant practice, we all can do it.
Listen up, our children's voices matter. For our youth to feel empowered to use their voices, they need to feel protected. And that's the initiative the Child Protection and Family Services Agency, CPFSA, has been driving to achieve. Let's take a look.
It's no secret. Child abuse remains a stain that many perceive as irremovable because of its prominence, silence from witnesses, and its broad global impact. But agencies like the Child Protection and Family Services Agency, CPFSA, are working twice as hard to remove that notion. The agency's latest effort, a child abuse community drive-through to sensitize citizens and awaken voices and actions to end even the smallest idea of abuse towards any child.
A message that says to the citizens all over Jamaica that it needs all hands on deck to care for our children.
The Child Protection and Family Services Agency has a mandate for children who are deemed to be in need of care and protection. These are children who have been abused, abandoned, neglected, or otherwise at risk. And we do interventions based on the several programs that we have.
Through its child abuse community drive-through, the CPFSA has engaged members of several communities in St. Anne. The message was delivered through public speaking, flyer distribution, and other engaging activities.
If you feel like a child is being hurt, you have to report. We don't want you to get the facts. We don't want you to investigate. We don't want you to come with evidence. We want you to tell us so that we can roll out and do what we have to do. And so that's why we're trying to say to the persons in St. Anne today, you have to report.
The engagement is garnering partnerships with power movers of our nation. The initiative has been welcomed and joined by members of the Center for the Investigation of Sexual Offences and Child Abuse, CISOCA, the Jamaica Constabulary Force, JCF, and the Ministry of Justice, among others.
Our service partners are on board. They have come out to support us, and that is the message we want to send. So we have persons from the police, the CISOCA department, persons from restorative justice, from the child guidance clinic, from the probations department, from the hospital. And so it is saying to the wider society, look at how we as service partners have to collaborate, because caring for a child has so many dimensions.
Every year we partner with the CPFSA on different initiatives, whether it is parenting program or directly having to do with children.
It's things like these that our department, Community Safety and Security, is very interested in partnering with.
Of course, solving the issue of child abuse goes far beyond what these agencies are doing. Accountability continues to rest on the shoulders of a much larger Jamaica.
And I want to also speak to the prescribed persons, the persons who by virtue of their employment have to treat the children. So all the guidance counselors, the teachers, the doctors, the dentists, the librarians, you are prescribed persons. Meaning by law you don't have a choice. It's not that you wonder, should I or should I not? The normal man may wonder, but we as prescribed persons, we must. And if we fail to do so, we are failing our children.
Children want something that they can look up to and aspire to be. And when they see that there's so many persons behind them willing to assist them with getting all that they need, then it is a good look for our children. And I just want to encourage you parents to know where your children are at all times. It doesn't matter if you're going to leave them with a friend or anybody, just know where they are. Keep checking on them. Build a communication, break that gap so that you're able to reach them whenever they are having a situation.
And even if you're not a parent, guidance counselor, a teacher or doctor, there's still a part for you to play in ending the plague of child abuse in our country. Volunteer at a child abuse prevention program. The CPFSA's initiative is a great start. Understand what child abuse is and know the signs. Unexplained injuries are not the only signs of abuse. Look out for signs of depression, fear of adults, or even inappropriate sexual behaviors. Teach children their rights. Help them to understand that they have the right to be safe. That way, they'll be more likely to report an offender and less likely to think that the abuse was their fault. And report suspected cases of abuse or neglect.
You do not have to leave your name. You do not have to leave your information unless you choose to. You will remain anonymous, but what it will do, it will give even one child a chance. Children who are hearing, you can also self-report. If it is that you begin to feel uncomfortable with any adult, there is a way that you can call and you can self-report.
So, the mission is clear. Working together to end child abuse in our island home.
Break the silence, report child abuse. That's the only way we can help our children. We have one aim and one aim only, to protect the Jamaican child.
Science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics are crucial subjects for moving forward in this digital world. Let's learn how students can use STEAM to advance in the world.
Science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, STEM, a supportive trunk of our island's national standards curriculum, which is strong enough to propel the growth of branches, fueling a better Jamaica. And as if that wasn't enough, our government's creativity expanded to mold the direction of STEM to create STEAM, science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. Right now, I'm about to meet head STEAM maker at the STEAM House, Godiva Golding, to learn about how her initiative is helping government prepare young minds for life beyond the classroom and beyond the curriculum.
STEAM House is a learning hub for science, technology, engineering, art, and math, more commonly known as STEAM. We teach integrated approaches to robotics and coding that allow students to actually solve real-world problems. So we do this through, again, coding and robotics education, and taking them through the process of exploring, imagining, and then making. At the end of STEAM House programs, you will always end up with some sort of end product, whether that be a game, be a prototype, or some web app that you can share with your family and friends. And we center all of this around project-based learning, because project-based learning is what is going to help students to build their problem-solving skills, critical thinking skills, and also help them to channel their creativity.
So I know you might be wondering, why was STEAM House created, and what is the target audience? Here's the answer.
So STEAM House was created with the vision of preparing students for this digital world that is increasingly about artificial intelligence, about technologies, about data, is about computers. And how I first got my start is being introduced as an electronics major at the University of the West Indies. And so, having gone through that experience, learning for the first time about coding and all these fine things at 21, 18 years old, thereabout, I thought it would be really good if we could have students as early as 7 actually learn some of these skills now. Because if they learn it at 7, by the time they get to 18 and 21, they're better able to actually actively participate in this world that is increasingly about AI and self-driving cars and all the fun things that we're going to be able to do with the internet. You have heard about coding because you're right here with us today. Who would like to raise their hand and tell me what coding is or what they think coding is? So there are a number of ways that we engage students in our programming. One way is our Block to Basics flagship course, which is a 2-month introduction to coding for children. The second way is through our summer camps, as well as ongoing STEAM camps that students can opt into, as well as our STEAM Maker Club. And the final thing, for especially foundations and organizations who are looking to build the skill set in their community, we have our Tinker workshops. So this is actually one of those workshops that students will be able to come in, have a hands-on experience with electronics, with coding, and build something that solves a problem in their community.
As you heard earlier, STEAM Maker has many programs that cater to the unique needs of its participants. Right now, we're witnessing firsthand the STEAM Maker Hour, done in collaboration with the Jamaica Library Service.
So this initiative, which is done with the St. Catherine Parish Library Network, is one hour per week coding course that students can actually take. And this is free of charge. But we do have paid programs that students can opt into that go and teach them the basics of not just coding and robotics, but also helps them to go really deep in building their problem-solving skills, because we take them through an entire process of starting out with an idea and having that idea turn into reality. We have had students who come through our programs who have built games to cheer you up during COVID. They've been games that help students to learn math. They've built games that, fire rocket ships. They've built remade Mario games. They've built things like motion-activated hand sanitizers, sort of like the ones that we see now in the supermarkets when we go in.
We're really very excited about this initiative at the library. Coding fuels the digital age, and it also encourages critical thinking. And that is one of the main aims that we have here at the library, along with the other programs and services that we have that include online learning and also online research.
I like
this program because it's very educational and very fun to do, and it helps a lot. I've learned about coding. I've done coding with animations and cartoons. It's very fun to do, and it shows you movements, and you can also project it in robots and other things like that.
As you can see, this intricate and purposeful entanglement of the sciences and arts is helping to create more multifunctioning and creative minds. STEAM is no longer just vapor from heated water. It's science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics, a requisite tool in today's highly technological and multifunctioning world.
Every Jamaican child in this day and age deserves access to these skills, access to sort of platform, the tools, the resources, and the tutors who will help to facilitate their journey through coding, through robotics, through this vehicle of problem solving and critical thinking skills. So parents who are interested in our programs can always visit our website at steamhouse.io, or they can visit us on Instagram, and we are steamhouse.io. With this, we start as early as 7 and we go as far as grade 9, and even beyond that for students who are interested in like robotics coaching for respective robotics competition that have especially popped up in Jamaica over the past 2 years.
So, if you're looking for an activity that teaches your child the soft and technical skills they need to be creators in the 21st century, why not try coding? Trust me, the possibilities are endless.
It's the last day of Teacher Appreciation Week, a prime time to recognize that teachers are diligent and excellent in acquiring knowledge while motivating and sharing that information. Also, it is well known that teaching is where other professions emanate. Today we want to show appreciation to our teachers for their drive to help us all acquire knowledge, competence, and virtue in our learning experience. To those who educate, we want to encourage you to press forward, even through the darkest days. Remember, we admire your tenacity to leave the world better than how you found it. Your contribution is an important part of the recipe to ensure Jamaica becomes the place of choice to live, work, raise families, and do business. We've come to the end of our program. Get a recap of all you saw here and more on our YouTube channel. Also, feel free to visit our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter pages for news you can use. In the words of Johann Wolfgang, treat people as if they were who they ought to be, and you will help them to become what they're capable of being. From all of us here at the JIS, I'm Audrey Williams. Bye for now.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.